Ooh, welcome, greetings, grand rising to you all. I am so excited right now. You are tuned into the Peak Wellness Hour. I am so excited. I am just on fire about the conversation. I think we all are. I can't wait to dive into this. I don't even want to talk right now because I'm so excited. I think we've done good to be about on time. So if you're in the virtual building, really quickly, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Okay. In the description is everything you need to connect with us. And we have a most awesome special guest, amazing king here with us today on the Peak Wellness Hour, Shawn A. White with Transformation Greatness and SBN Small Business Networking. Super excited. So say hello in the chat. Okay. Whatever platform you're listening on, please go to the description. Make sure you follow all of us. You want to follow this king. I'm telling you right now, you're at a disadvantage because I've had the privilege and the pleasure and the honor of speaking with this king. Queen Edith and I just talked with him and he just fired us up in a few minutes. So if you don't know who he is, you definitely want to check him out. He's on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all that good jazz. So we're going to have him introduce himself in just a second. We're in this conversation today about implementing self-love into relationships. We don't know how it's going to go, okay? Because I know Shawn asked last week, he asked Queen Edith and I, Grand Rising Queen Mother, a.k.a. Rhonda Thomas, Grand Rising Queen Kathy B. He asked us, do we talk all the time on a regular basis, right? And we don't. And he's going to see firsthand how we just collaborate here and just flow. And we're going to have a great time. I'm so excited about everything he has to bring to us. So before he does, I'm going to play this quick intro as far as sponsorship and whatnot. We're going to have Queen Edith speak because we all know that we love this beautiful voice, this beautiful accent. Shawn A. White has deemed her the professor. So that is what she is. So, and you're going to find out why in just a second. So give us just a second. I'll play this and we're going to let Queen Edith dive in and we're going to introduce you to this amazing king with all this information, all this wisdom, all this grace and love in this conversation.
She's coming back.
You are tuned in to the Peak Wellness Hour. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Peak Homecare Associates, providing exceptional non-medical caregivers to assist in the care of your seniors or loved ones living with developmental challenges in the surrounding areas of Noblesville, Indiana. This broadcast is also brought to you in part by Clearest Holistic Lifestyle Coaching, promoting empowerment through acknowledgement, accountability, and integrity. Join the Clearest Conscious community and elevate your mind, body, spirit, and wealth to new heights. Thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe, like, and share to the Peak Wellness Hour.
Okay, so that is who we are. So really quickly, that was said, but we do not, Grand Rising Queen Betty, Grand Rising. We do not want to take away from this beautiful voice. Grand Rising Queen Janet. So glad you all are here. So glad. Please feel free to engage in the comment section, y'all, because it's going to be a powerful conversation. But before we do, again, Queen Edith's going to bring us in. And the only way she can, the only way we love for her to do, right? And then we're going to introduce our guest speaker, Shawn A. White. So excited. Grand Rising, Mind Games. Grand Rising. Queen.
Hi, family. Good morning and happy Valentine's Day, Saturday, right? Day after Happy Valentine's Day. I hope you all had a great time. You didn't do anything silly, but you did take time to love yourself, right? Because you can learn to love anybody else if you can't love yourself. And that is very important. But here we are with Peak Wellness Hour. The face of our talk show is changing. It's no more only brought to you by Peak Home Care Associates, but it's brought to you by any of you who want to be part of this. So for my part, this is from Peak Home Care Associates and Charismatic Evangelistic Ministry all over in the state of Indiana. SAM is a church. We are an arm of the Kingdom of God. Our assignment is to bring you the love, to share the love and the gospel of Jesus Christ. Okay. Peak Home Care is a non-medical home care agency taking care of becoming a partner with you in the support of your loved ones. Either they may be developmentally challenged or seniors who need a little bit more support to go about the activities of daily living. So, without wasting much time, I'll hand over to Queen G. I hope you guys have an amazing time with us because I can wait. I'm coming in blind. Truthfully, I'm coming in blind, but I can't wait to jump in.
I'm so excited. Yes. So, without further ado, I want to introduce you all to Miss King, Shawn A. White. Doing what I do with Clearest Conscious, just different things. Him and I connected on social media, just great energy, positive energy. And it was amazing from the start. He's just poured into me so much in the short few times that we've connected. And it's just been amazing. So I want you all to listen to him. Please, King, share what you do, who you are, what Transformation Greatness is, and how you are a life changer. Please.
Great morning, great morning. Let the record show that these ladies is doing an outstanding job. So I want to give a special shout out as far as to Fire and Ice, aka Angelina, and Professor Edith for just really being consistent. Like I mentioned to you, ladies before, you're doing an absolutely fantastic job, and I love the platform and space in which that you are providing. Well done. But ladies and gentlemen, my name is Shawn A. White, as Queen Angelina did mention. I've been an entrepreneur now going on for about 14 years. I am currently here in Atlanta, Georgia. A little bit more about me is that I'm the founder and creator of a brand which is called Transformation Greatness, which is all about motivating, encouraging, and inspiring the masses. And with that, being gifted with this brand of the power of speaking. I'm a coach, also a hypnotherapist practitioner, a radio and TV personality with SBN, the Small Business Network, and I host a multitude of other different services. What Transformation Greatness is all about, very simply, is showing individuals and helping individuals become a greater versions of themselves. Because if you're like me, you grew up as far as in a space where there was trauma associated, where there was possibly even confusion, a lot of self-limited beliefs. And so, unfortunately, if that doesn't get addressed early on in our childhood, we carry that actually into our adulthood. So, because of the fact that the creator has given me a second chance at life, if you will. He has given me this brand in a space where I was broken financially, spiritually, emotionally, every which way possible you can possibly think of. And that was back in 2016. So I've just been on a mission to motivate, encourage, and inspire the masses, showing others as possible overcome your self-limited doubts and beliefs. And family, it has been a fun ride. Has it been easy? Absolutely not. But it is doable, because if it's doable for one person, it's doable for another person. And so today, we're going to have some fun, and we're going to go one-on-one with these queens. And my goal here is to provide this audience with as much value as possible. And also, if you can do me a favor, if you get any kind of takeaways, if there was any aha moments, anything that perhaps resonated with you, and if you have questions, more importantly, because this is interactive, by the way, please put that in the comment section. So, Queens, I'm so excited. Let's go ahead and rock and roll. Take it away.
Whew. Let's do it. Where do we start, Queen? So, okay, first of all, so the conversation, I'm so excited. I just want to hear you speak. The the conversation, the topic is implementing self-love with relationships. So Queen Edith, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago and just kind of setting up what we're going to speak about in the next few weeks. And so we brought this up, right? And so I know Valentine's Day, like we said, just passed, right? But when it comes to love, we want to look at all kinds of different types of love. And it looks different. Love is subjective, okay? People love their dogs more than they love their kids. They love their jobs more than they love their spouse. It's very subjective at times. So I want to share something with you all. And I promise y'all, we're going to let Shawn A dive right into this. But I wanted to share something with you all to think about. Queen Edith and I were talking earlier, and especially in the Black community, and we're all inclusive, right? Doesn't matter your gender, denomination, ethnicity, all that stuff. But we want to be real and we want to keep it logical, okay? So within the Black community, which is a lot of our followers, but it applies to everybody. We have this concept of godly love where you love everyone and that's the end all be all, okay? So I'm going to show something to you all. And if you can't see it, you might be watching on your tablet or your phone. Feel free to go back and look on your screen, on your TV screen on YouTube, and follow us wherever you're looking at right now. Okay, it's there. But I want to show you all this. Couple things. So it says love is and y'all know when I start reading, I'm gonna turn my screen off so I'm not all in the screen because I need some glasses. Okay, so it says love is a complex emotion that encompasses a range of strong, positive mental and emotional states. Okay, it can manifest as deep affection, warm attachment, or devotion, and can be inspired by kinship, admiration, compassionism. What does that say? I need some glasses, y'all. Compassionship and benevolence. I'm sorry. It says love also refers to sexual attraction or erotic desire. Okay, so different things. So I don't know if you all know this, but there's at least 9 types of love. Okay, we have romantic love, which involves high passion and intimacy, often associated with a partner or a spouse. Platonic love is a type of love that can be affectionate or passionate, but doesn't involve sexual feelings. Okay. Familial love is a type of platonic love that exists within families. And we can dive into that a little later when we talk about relationships, because we're not just talking about intimate, relationships today, right? So we can all agree if we have multiple children, you love your children differently, you love your parents differently, different grandparents differently, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. We have to come to terms with that, okay? With ludus love, it's a playful, uncommitted love that can involve teasing, flirting, and dancing. That kind of thing that you do at work and, maybe teetering the line or whatnot. Now you have mania, an excessive love that can lead to jealousy or possessiveness. Now, I want to stop here really quickly. I want to say this. Okay, when we talk about love being subjective, when someone says, I'm going to take this off the screen really quickly before we go on. When someone says that they love someone, that's why it's subjective. I can love you enough to give away my earnings and work harder to make sure I meet your need. I can love you enough to where I don't say no, or I always say yes. I can love you enough to go the distance. I can also love you enough to where if I can't have you, no one can, and I will kill you. You see why it's subjective. Okay, and why we're going to talk about self-love and how it reflects in relationships. Okay, so let's keep going really quickly. Philia love is a healthy form of self-love that involves recognizing your self-worth. This is the type of love that a lot of us have a hard time expressing and walking in. Having the difficulty saying that I am, and expressing that in any kind of relationship has become very complex today. I am this, but because you are this way, I will bend and be that way. And how does it look with self-love? Okay. Almost done. I promise y'all, Shawn's going to dive into this. Okay. Now we're going to agape love. This is the one that should have been at the top because this is what we all identify with, most of us. A selfless love that's given without expectations of anything in return. I'm going to dive back into that in a second. I'm going to read these last two. I'm going to dive right back into that one. Pragma love is a practical love that is based on reason or duty or shared goals. Okay. I love Shawn enough to where when we had plans to do a recording, do a collaboration, I fell short. I love him enough to be accountable for that and own that and be responsible. Does that make sense to you all? Okay. And then you have impersonal love, a love that can be expressed towards things other than humans, such as objects, principle, or activity. I love my job enough to where I'm going to keep working hard. My king here is standing by my side. I love my king, but I love this job. I don't love his job. I love the fact that I'm going to make moves for me and my king and my family. But do you see I can be distorted? Because it looks like you really love your job more than you love your family because, okay. But really quickly going back into that agape love. And Queen Eve and I were talking about this. I'm going to stop talking, y'all. We were talking about this earlier before we got on. And that trip up with agape love. Again, a selfless love that is given without expectations of anything in return. A lot of us operate like that. But we don't understand the process in doing so. Because out of selflessness, you can become broken. Unintentionally, out of stress, out of being wore down, out of being overwhelmed. And that's what we're going to talk about here today. It's how we identify with these different types of love. You know, you love your jewelry more than you love your family. Why is all your assets on your body? You have on $200 Jordans and you're in the bus trying to provide for your family, but you got on $200 Jordans and your baby, your newborn baby's got on $200 Jordans too, but there's no college fund. You can't say it's not love, but what? So let's talk about it. I'm going to stop talking. Who wants to die?
May I jump into something?
Please.
First of all, that was an excellent breakdown description of love. You even mentioned certain types of love that I didn't even know. So well done, teacher Angelina.
Thank you.
When it comes to self-love, and I love how the way you broke that down because you had me thinking as I was listening. You know, everybody has a different path, a different upbringing, obviously. And when it comes to love, you are correct. You're 1,000% correct. It's so subjective because based upon how the way people were taught as far as with love, right?
Mhm.
And obviously the goal is to have that agape love, right? That's that selfless love. But if you're like me, I was told a different type of love. It comes with an attachment, more so and I think you mentioned on, I think it was the fifth or sixth one, I can't remember, but I love you, but there's conditions to it, right? If you do this for me, if you do that for me, just like you mentioned with your job or your career. Yes, you love your job, but you also love your king as well. But that's where it can get kind of distorted because it's almost like you're trying to do like a balancing act, and it's like, okay, can I balance this out, right? Do I love my job more than my husband, or do I love my husband more than my job? So with love is so subjective. Here's what I'm discovering. Notice on what I just said, discovering, not discovered, because I'm still on that continuous path, right? What I'm discovering is that when you have that self-love, meaning that when you know of who you are as an individual, when you start to accept the imperfections, the flaws, When you can look at yourself in the mirror and say, you know what, in spite of my imperfections, in spite of my flaws, in spite of as far as on what I went through, I'm okay with that. That to me, I know is the start of the beginning of your transformation. It's very interesting, right? You have a lot of individuals that say, I want a transformational experience, right? Or I want $1 million, or I want, that newest car. I want these things as far as my family, the financial security, whatever the case may be. And that is beautiful. That's something in which that you should strive for, right? As being a human being. However, it starts with the self-love. First of all, and I want to ask everybody this, right? You can put it in the comments, reflect on it. Number one, do you feel that you're even worthy? Don't do a knee-jerk reaction. I want you to think about that. Do you feel that you're worthy? Because if I can be transparent here, for a long time, I did not feel I was worthy. And why is that, you're probably saying? Why does the founder of Transformation Greatness got the audacity to say that he didn't feel worthy at a point in time? Allow me to explain. You're speaking with an individual that, and I mentioned to this earlier in the call, I was raised in an environment which was toxic at best, born and raised in the projects, me and my two sisters. I had a single parent that she worked herself to the bone, literally. She was the mother and the father. I love that. Subjective love is dangerous. Thank you, Abby. And seeing that, how the way she's trying to pull it all together, having a father that really didn't want to be a father, right? And there was a resentment and there was an identity crisis right then and there at a very young age. And so seeing that, trying to figure this thing called life at a very young age, didn't have the guidance of my father. Self-love was really something I was trying to discover even at that time. And what I used to do a lot of times to match that, if you will, or to try to prove myself worthy, especially to my mother, is that I used to do everything I could to possibly make her feel happy. Why? Because I used to see that she used to work hard to the bone. I mean, literally, I can't remember a day where we didn't have food on the table. We didn't have clean running water. We didn't have clothes on our back. I cannot remember. And I used to see the many times she used to be so tired and fatigued. But shout out to Louise K. White because she never complained. She never complained in front of us. But I can see it in her spirit that she was tired. So I would do everything I can to try to make her happy. There was many times where growing up in our household, or every Saturday, and maybe you queens can relate to this, she used to label that as a cleaning day. And every Saturday morning around 9 or 10 o'clock, right, after we ate breakfast, we would start cleaning up the house and we would listen to either the Jackson 5, Stevie Wonder, Teddy Pendergrass, Barry White. And we used to just go in and I would just dance and sing and entertain my heart away. And it would put so much of a joy and a smile on her face. And that was my way of showing my appreciation to my mother, but also to show her, like, Mom, look, I am worthy, right? Even though our father is not in our lives, but guess what? I'm here. That only worked temporarily because even then, going to school, getting high marks and everything else, it wasn't enough because my mother had very high standards in that my sisters, and I talk about this a lot, and it took a long time as far as for me to do the inner self work. But I remember many times where my sisters can get like an 80 or 85 or 90, right? And my mother, she would probably be just a little bit disappointed, but she would give them major props and respect. But if I got anything less than 100, oh boy. Let's just say it wasn't favorable. Put it to that way. Let's keep it PG, but you guys know what I'm talking about, right? If you're a Gen X, you know what I'm talking about. And so I developed as far as with that complex as I went through my teenage years and even in my adult years trying to figure this out. And I truly didn't love myself because it was always a constant battle. And unbeknownst to me, I guess out of the 9 different points of love, I was trying to identify which one am I and which one do I use based upon the occasion and the situation. But yet overall, the self love, I'm sorry, the agape love wasn't even there because I didn't know what it was.
Mhm.
Only when I became an entrepreneur through God's grace and mercy started the process, the transformation shift. And yet, like I mentioned, I am discovering. I am discovering more and more and more. Because the bottom line is this, ladies and gentlemen, doesn't matter what you're looking to accomplish, doesn't matter on what you're looking to do. If you don't start with the self-love, the agape love that the creator has instilled within you and has been pouring in you due to the scriptures and research and with whatever type of resources that you have, then everything in which I'm saying and everything in which that Angelina and Professor Edith is saying is going to be null and void, excuse me. And why do I say that? Why do I make that bold statement? Because what's going to happen, you're going to hear it through your ears. It's going to be like, wow, that was some great information. Man, that was pretty cool. That was amazing. But I guarantee you, 98 to 99% of the time, you're going to hear it. It's going to feel good. But the action and the information part will not go into effect because somewhere in your subconscious mind, deep down in your spirit, you do not believe it. And your self-limited beliefs is going to come to a high resistance like a wall and saying, Shawn, come on now. Really? We've been through this situation I don't know how many times. You really believe in that stuff? You really believe in that you're worthy to be on this show and give value? How dare you, man? Who are you? Do you remember what you did 10 or 15 years ago? Do you remember what you said 3 years ago? Come on now, Shawn. Let's be for real, man. That sounds good, right? But me and you both know, right? Me and you both know, right? Right? You can be real with me, right? And if the self-love is not there, what happens if we say, even for that little sliver of doubt, come on now. You know what? Yeah, let's go. For that little sliver of doubt that creeps in and say, you know what? Yeah, I think you're right. And how I know this to be true is because it's one thing to say it, but our actions dictate how the way we truly feel. It shows up on social media and it shows up on our day in and day out activities. But when you have that self-love, as these queens has articulated, when you put that action in, when you focus on yourself, and that's why in the morning time we do prayer. That's why throughout the course of the day we do prayer and we constantly working on ourselves, right? When we start to do that, then what we're working on the inside reflects on the outside, and thus individuals such as Angelina and Professor Edith, excuse me. I can't say Edith no more. Professor Edith and many others, they start to see that and they become attractive. So self-love is very important. And then if you doubt this, doesn't matter what faith or religion or institution is, I can promise you, because I read them all. I read them pretty much all. In each and every single last one of the great books, there is heavy focus on that self-love, that agape love. Why? Because it is a universal principle. And so you are your greatest investment. You are your greatest investment. And I encourage you all to really listen in, right? And to not just listen, but internalize this information and make it transformational. And so I'm gonna pass it back to teacher Angelina and Professor Edith because I know they have a lot of stuff they want to say, but I just wanted to share on that. Thank you.
I want to turn my camera off, Queen. If you're gonna have to talk, because I'm just overjoyed over here.
Wow. Yes, indeed. Ken, you packed it. You really, really packed it. And the one thing that is I heard a lot more really that got to me is hearing here and not letting it sink it deep into us to the point that our body, our soul, our spirit will be in sync.
Yes, ma'am.
So that it will become part of who we are.
Yes,
because really, what we believe is who we are.
Absolutely.
It's not just what you believe with your mind and what your body feels, but it's also what you take deep into your spirit. Actually, when it sinks deeper into your spirit, it becomes your whole body syncs up to it. Your whole system, actually, we are a system, syncs up to it, and then it becomes your reality.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. That was deep. And you talk about the different kinds of love from childhood, growing up, your parents, your perspective as you looked at your parents and even your siblings. And those are real. That is how we are shaped and we are formed. That is our understanding of our world. It comes right from home, from the beginning, and then the school we go to, the associates we have, the friendships we make. Those things form our perspective to life, to love, to loving ourselves. Sometimes people love themselves to the point that they're called arrogant.
Right.
The self-love brings confidence. Confidence may make you look cocky, but doesn't mean you are cocky, depending on who is looking at you. But having said that, thank you. That was deep. I love that. And Queen, I love all the different kinds of love. But I want to share something. All these love form three categories. There's the erotica, which is the one you fall in love with, all the the butterflies and everything, the sexual part, all of that. That's the erotica love. Okay, then we have the familial love, which is family. You don't have sex with your siblings, God forbid. I hope not, but yes. And then the major love is the agape love.
Correct.
I want to put a little bit of twist to it a bit because it's not just selfless love. And because of our interpretation of it being selfless love, we do it in a way that hurts us. Agape is unconditional love. Not unconditional love to everybody else but you, but unconditional love for yourself first and for others. Agape actually represents the love of God for you and I.
Absolutely.
Okay, I don't know. I'm trying not to get into that part of me, but
You're gonna do it. Go ahead, do it, Queen. Don't hesitate.
Agape is the God kind of love. Is Queen Abby asked, what does godly love? Unpack godly love. Godly love is unconditional love. In other words, you are disobedient, but I love you. I don't like your disobedience, but you as a person, I love you. And our challenge as people is that we were born in a home. Some of us with a mom and a dad at home. And we define love based on how they lived their love. Okay, when you God for and if you come from a home that was broken, mom and dad, and unfortunately they couldn't see eye to eye, they fought in the presence of the children, even when they were not together. The moment they see each other, they were attacking each other. These people, I came through them. Do they even love me? What does love look like? Is this love? So in the mind of a child, it's questionable. And I noticed that, and please correct me if I'm wrong.
Sure.
I noticed that when children, for example, you grew, your parents were there together as a child, and then somewhere along the line, there's the breakup. Children tend to feel like it's their fault.
Come on.
Children tend to feel like it's their fault. They must have done something wrong. And so they begin to question themselves. So they look at love from that perspective.
Yep.
And it puts a question mark of, can I even love myself unconditionally? But unconditional love is for you too. Okay, and what we perceive as flaws, okay, you look in the mirror, you see your flaws, you see that, oh, my hair is half naked, and I begin to compare my hair with Queen G's hair, which is all perfect, and I begin to feel some kind of way about me, and then it minimizes my confidence.
Absolutely.
The truth is that our parents, ourselves, we are all flawed in a way that we cannot give love or share love or even interpret love the way God intended it to be. So in order for you and I to learn to love ourselves, we've got to figure out, because agape is the God kind of love, which is unconditional. You've got to find out, what does God say about me?
Correct. Come on.
The foundation of love matters. What does God say about me? Listen, when I was a child, I was so much like my mom. My mom and I fought a lot. When I grew up, she became my best friend. But the truth and the reality is that my mother had a daughter. She'd never been a parent. Okay, so she would love me the best way she knew how. Okay, but the God who created me and brought me into the world said something about me. He said, I knew you before the foundations of the earth. I chose you and I ordained you. You are my child. I truly even sent my son to die for you so that you can become a part of my family. I love you and I want you into my family. I made you perfect. No matter what you see as your flaws, there is a purpose for what you consider a flaw. There is a purpose for what you consider not so beautiful. There is a purpose for how I uniquely structured your lips and your hips and your face and your arms and the way you talk and the way you listen. I structured you specifically for a reason, so you may see a flaw, but I don't. And we get to look at ourselves from the perspective of the person who made us, who formed us, who determined that this is going to be your mother, this is going to be your father. Even if the conception came out of rape, you were purposely chosen. You are loved and you are cherished. And until we see ourselves in that light, loving Edith will become very difficult.
Come on.
You can't love yourself if you're going to look at it from all the circumstances under which you grew up. Why am I struggling? Why am I broke? Why can't I ever? You will question yourself. And you see, the more you think so about the negativity and you process it over and over, you continue to recreate it because you have the creative power, because you were made in the image and God is the creator. And so are you. We have the creative image. So if you continue to look at your life from the negative perspective, you're going to have a vicious cycle of negativity.
Absolutely.
else are you going to look at somebody and make them feel like they're better than you? They deserve to be loved more than you in a relationship, especially erotic relationship. Make them look better, make them feel better. So you put yourself so down. That is not love.
That's right.
That's truly not love.
That's right.
Crying out for acceptance. That's saying that if I rub up of you a little bit, I may feel better, but our insecurities will destroy that beautiful thing that we have been given. I just wanted to say, so perception is important. Number one. Number two, the foundation upon which you're talking about love matters, because it is on this foundation that you're going to love yourself or not.
That's right. Come on.
I have to look into my mirror every day naked. Look at everything I consider flaws. Some of them is through overeating, though. Some of them can be fixed. So if there's something wrong that can be fixed, then fix it. Okay? If you are insecure about it, then fix it. But you can't change the way your eye look. You can't change the way you speak. You can't change the way you sound. Those were specifically made for you. So my question is this: are you going to look and listen to everything that you have been told negatively? And I want to reach out to the male and the female who have been in abusive relationships, who have been called names, who have been told that I am the only one who will accept you and love you. And you're looking at your life, yourself from that lens and saying you're not worth it, and tell you that that is a lie. You're worth it. I don't care when you are worth it. Everything you are was purposely made for you.
You know, that was so powerful right there. That done gave me chills. Come on, somebody, man. I'm on.
Okay.
Oh, can I do something? Please give me 1 minute. I want to give a shout out to somebody. I was talking to him this morning and I was moved by what he does. It's King Abi Emmanuel Alo. He is a strategist. He's an AI advocate. I don't know how I feel about that part, but he does something that I think is very interesting. He's a teacher of chess. And guess who he teaches? He teaches the deaf and the dumb how to play chess. His heart is for the homeless, the disabled, and the handicapped in Africa. And I just want to give him a shout out and say thank you for what you do, reaching out to a population that not many are reaching out and teaching them the value of life through the playing of chess. God bless you. I appreciate you. Kinabi, thank you. I'm done. Thank you very much.
Wow. It's so much I want to add to what you just said, because that was so powerful.
I saw the wheels turning in your head, King. I was waiting. I saw the wheels turning. Go ahead.
Yeah. but you know what, teacher Angelina, do you want to jump in on that? Because that was just so powerful.
No, it was so I just shut my mouth and call me enlightened right now. I can't. Go ahead, King. Go ahead, please.
Oh my goodness. You know what? That was so powerful. Through everything in what you just said, Professor, that's the reason why you've been labeled Professor Edith. You did a fantastic way of really just illustrating that. But the main takeaway in which I got from what you said is that in terms of self-love and agape love, it's all about a decision. I referenced that by saying this. When I was, well, let me go ahead and give you guys a little backstory, how I even got here to Atlanta, right? And when I tell this story, nobody really believes me, but it's going to tie into what you just stated. So when I came up here in May 2016 to Atlanta, Georgia, I was dealing with a young lady back when I was in Miami, and we had visions, and we spoke about as far as building a life up here, because initially she was from Atlanta, Georgia. Well, that was, well, I'm gonna put it this way. The last time I spoke to her was on April the 30th. The last words that I heard from this young lady was that when you get up here to Atlanta and when you get to the Greyhound station, give me a call because I'm about a few hours away. I don't had literally all my luggage. I had about $400 to my name because I was staying with my aunt down in Miami, and things, unfortunately, it just wasn't ideal. God rest her soul. I've forgiven her for the transgressions, but nevertheless, I got up here to Atlanta in the Greyhound station May 1st, 2016. That is so significant because when I got here, when I made the phone call to let her know that I was here, it's like all lines of communication disappeared. I tried calling all day to reach out to this individual, nothing. I called her family members, associates. It's like as if I never even existed. They didn't know who I was. At that point, I'm stuck there in the Greyhound station. I'm in a city that I don't know anybody. I'm in an area which I know now to this day was a very dangerous area. But at that point, unbeknownst to me, the grace of God was actually there. The angels were keeping me safe. And I stayed there for about a day. The next day, I had to leave. I couldn't stay there anymore. I had to go as far as to the rescue mission, Salvation Army, and then from there, by the grace of God, he led me to the Georgia Works program. At that point, that's where the restoration started. That's when God had an opportunity to really come in and work within me. Because prior up to that point, he had shown himself, but yet the self-love within me wouldn't truly accept him, if that makes sense. And so at that point, he started the transformation process. He started really bringing individuals to me to start administering to me, right, through life principles and different things like that. And from there, the rest is history. Why I share that? Because exactly on what you stated, Professor Edith, self-love comes with a committed decision. And unfortunately, many of us, we have to come to a point in our lives where it's either a life or death situation. It has to be something extreme. But the beautiful thing about the God in which that we serve is that although he knew all this was going to happen way before he created the clouds, before he created water, before he created um, creation, life, he knew all this was going to happen. But the beautiful thing about of who he is that he sits back, he allowed for us to go through on what we go through, not realizing that he's assigning angels to put us in this situation. I mean, to make sure that we're not going too far. He puts angels or people in our lives to make sure that yes, they may be going astray, way of astray, but make sure they don't go too far right here. And so at that point, he used the Georgia Works program, which by the way was a institutional prison that was converted to a shelter. So you can pretty much imagine the psychological aspect of that alone, feeling like a prisoner, feeling like I'm serving time, even though I didn't commit a crime, but he had to use that in order to reach me, to be able to pour into what he needed to pour into me. Thus, the self-love process started to come about, and I really started to understand of who I was. Is this making sense, ladies and gentlemen? So
Definitely.
everything in which that Professor Edith, the way that she illustrated that was just so beautiful, right? Because it just took me back to that time. And that's why self-love is very important because prior up to that point, I had many different versions of love, right? I was in stages where, excuse me, where the way to show my love was through the erotic love, right? And then there were stages in my life where I showed different forms of love because that's the way in which I was shown because I did not understand the true agape love because I was not raised in the church. The streets pretty much raised me in a sense, metaphorically speaking, and he had to use that. He had to use that whole area. He had to get me out of that city. He had to get me out of a quote unquote toxic environment in order to sit me down to where, okay, now I can speak to my son and I can pour into him and all the things and the gifts that I've been wanting to give him since then. He wasn't able to see it because he was so distracted. But now I have him in a place where he's broken emotionally, financially, spiritually, emotionally. And now I can go ahead and talk to him. Not so much scolding him like, look, I've been trying to. No, that's not the way he works. The way he works, he has a regular conversation. Now, don't get me wrong. God is love. But also, too, it's something that I had to learn. He will also discipline you as well to show his version of love, but it would not be so severe as opposed if you wasn't listening. I want somebody to catch that. Just like as a proud parent, right? If you all have children, obviously you know that discipline is a form of love, right? It may not be so severe, right? But there has to be some boundaries, right? There has to be a point where the child understands I'm the parent and you're the child. I love you nevertheless. But when you do certain things, there are repercussions for that. And so he did the same thing with me, but he poured so much into me. And he's given me this gift to be able to articulate and communicate with you all because prior to that, I didn't have it. I didn't have it at all. And for me to even try to sit here and say, oh, because it was me and because, I had to get the gab to make them laugh and all that other stuff. No, that was being arrogant. That was being selfish. And he had to put me in that space to say, listen, I am on who I say I am. Do you believe that you're enough? Do you believe that you're worthy? Forget about lip service, ladies and gentlemen. What Professor Edith was talking about with the self-love is, do you believe in your heart of hearts? Because when you believe, then that's when your creative can work. Then that's when people such as Teacher Angelina and Professor Edith can come in and pour into you. And because your spirit will be wide open, because the information which that they're giving you is not by their own accord, but it's by the Creator himself. And he's using these ladies as vessels to speak, to communicate with you, because the reality is this: your Creator has been trying to speak to you since then, but for whatever reason, you wasn't listening. You didn't have the ear, right? So he uses these queens as vessels to get his message out to you, to where you'll be more receptive. And how you know it's working, because it's touching your spirit and you're getting chills and you're getting goosebumps and you're thinking about it and you're internalizing it. And so the self-love, for the fact that you're even allowing yourselves to listen to this information and allow for it to take root and resonate in your spirit, this is where the transformation begins. This is where he's able to pour those gifts into you, right? Some of you guys are very, very gifted as far as in social media, in creativity, in design, in speaking, and communicating, whatever the case is. And then to even make it even more sweeter, once that he has done pouring into you, which by the way, that doesn't end until the day that you leave this planet Earth, by the way. And now he's doing that in such a way because he wants your cup to run up over so much, to the point now you can give from what? The overflow. The self-love and agape love in which that God talks about, in which I've been learning, is that he wants us to pour so much into us to where now the cup running over and you get from the overflow, because you cannot give back something in which that you do not have. You can't give from an empty cup or from a half cup. But when there's overflow, right? And now it's spilling over. Now you can give back. Now you can create podcasts and shows such as this. Now you can create content and packages to serve to the people that have been waiting for you this whole entire time, but you have allowed for yourself to say yes. All right, Barbara. I know.
Love it. And you know what? You said something.
I'm gonna keep going.
You
So
said
also too,
something really quickly. You said
yes,
something
ma'am.
where you were talking about the place that you had to go, and the journey that you had to take to be in that place. And I want to ask everybody, like, where are you willing to go? How far are you willing to go for you? Where would you find yourself? Where you find peace and serenity and self-love that is identified with benevolent love. It's crazy because we've talked about, God loving us and God seeing us, but we don't see ourselves. If God is in you, then I don't know what kind of spectacles you need to see you and you. Where are you willing to go? I don't know. Go ahead. I just want to say that. Go ahead.
It's very interesting because sometimes when we seem to have it together, we think we have it, right? Mm-hmm. And sometimes, listen, you could be the richest person in the world and still not have it. Mm-hmm. Not have it in the sense that you are satisfied, but you're not fulfilled. Mm-hmm. It's so important to know that we were sent, on earth. We are sent. That's very important to know that we are sent. I want to say it again. You were before you ever became flesh.
That's right.
And so when you were sent here to occupy, not just occupy space, but you came with a solution to something that was or was yet to be. Okay. And sometimes in all of it, we forget or we don't even remember why we are here. And the only way sometimes we can come into that recognition is when we lose it all. In your situation, you lost it. And God, in his wisdom, that's the way I will put it. You can put universe or nature or whatever it is. But Edith will say, God, in his wisdom, allowed that person to not even connect. He brought you to a place to get your attention, to direct your path. Otherwise, you will not be doing transformation greatness. You will not be here. But this is what you're doing. And I want to question you if you are fulfilled in what you're doing. You find fulfillment. And sometimes this fulfillment is that information to you to know that you are in the right place, doing the right thing, being everything I made you to be. You have satisfaction, but you have fulfillment. Okay. I want to say something about love of self as it connects to identity. You can't love yourself if you don't know who you are. We live in a
Please say that again real quick. Please say that again. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Please say that again.
We cannot love ourselves if we do not know who we are. If we have not solidified we are not solidified in our identity. We live in a star-studded era, okay? You see all the stars. I don't want to mention names to look like I'm discriminating. Right. But I see somebody and I want to be, let me use Queen G. I want to be like Queen G. Queen G is a star up there and I want to be like Queen G. So guess what? When I go shopping, I want to find, that's why celebrities display who made their dress and who made their makeup and where they get their shoes. And so we go that direction. Oh, Queen G likes polo neck. So I'm going to get that gray polo neck. Oh, she loves eyeshadow. And so I want to be her. So I lose me. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I lose me. And when I have lost me in erotica love, and I've lost me, and that today I want to be like Queen G. Today I want to be like King Shawn. Tomorrow I want to be that person. Where is Edith? So even in erotica love, who am I bringing? Because when you make love to your spouse, you give we put it this way, I gave myself, all of myself to him, but who?
Right.
Who am I giving to him? In the same manner, excuse me, those who watch, should I use or those sexual content, watch those videos, okay? Sometimes when he is making love to me, is he making love to me or the ideal woman or person he saw? So we are coming into our relationships fragmented because we do not know who we are. So relationships are breaking. Our relationships are breaking not because sometimes our partner is so terrible, but because we are living this life that do not belong to us. So who you are is key to success, even in your relationship. Knowing who you are, finding out who you are, looking in the mirror and saying, this is Edith. I was born to be this. It took me a long time because I'm grown. It took me a long time to come into who I am. So when a man approaches me in that relationship, I can look and say, no, he's not for me. That doesn't mean he's bad. He's a great man. But from where I know I am to where I'm going, he can't take me there. He won't partner with me there. We will have diversion in our marriage, whereas we should have a vision together, working towards the same purpose. That's how I can compliment him and he can compliment me. But if I don't know who I am, I don't know what I'm created for, I don't know where I'm going, I don't even love me as I see, I want to be like that one, and I want to be like that one. How is he going to know who I am to even know that I will even compliment him, that we will make a great team to fulfill a purpose that is so powerful that we both will be fulfilled? So who you are, if you want to love yourself, start finding out who you are. Listen, I have to say this. As human beings, we forget who made us. So when we want to find out who we are, we go everywhere else. There is no way I'm driving my S-Class, my favorite kind of car, and when there's anything wrong with it, I'm going to go to a Toyota dealership. No way.
Right.
I'm going to go to the maker because they know their products and they know how to fix it to give you the best experience. The way you will have the best experience of yourself is by going back. Who made me? Why did you make me? Why am I like that? What am I here for? Because I'm walking, wallowing, trying everything that I don't even care for. Yeah, I'm making the money, but I'm not enjoying it. That is real. In many of us, we have the jobs, we have the businesses, we are making the money, we are making the connections, but inside there's something missing. You see it among the celebrities ending their lives with all that money, and you wonder what went wrong. So the question is, would you take the time to figure out who you are? It's so important. If you're single, you're waiting for your next relationship, please do the homework so you can bring you. He can bring you. So when he's looking for you, he knows you. We talk about authenticity without even understanding it. You. I'm bringing all of Edith into me. That's the only way you can love you. Stop loving everybody else and not loving. That's not how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to love you.
Right.
Know you, love you, and bring you. That's who God wants us to be, you, me. Then when you say I am, you have to be confident in I.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
I am Edith, and I am Edith, and I know who I am. Do you know who you are when you say I am? Really?
Mhm.
Are you being that star that you keep looking out for? Not
Mhm.
looking out for, but wanting to be, or you're being you? Really?
Mhm.
That is
You know what? And my queen aunt Gloria just said something. And shout out to Black Men's Group. Shout out to my queen aunt first of all, but she always represents us with as far as her and my king Uncle Brian with the Black Men's Group of Indianapolis. It is who's ready for a reset. Who's ready to say that, you know what, I've been stuck in this limbo, I've been stuck in my ways, I've been stuck in this mindset, but I'm ready for a reset. I know for me, it's scary, like when your computer's acting up, you know, your phone's acting up, it's like doing a reset. And I'm like, what am I gonna lose? Am I gonna lose these text messages? Am I gonna lose these emails? What are you gonna lose? But what is there to gain when you say, I have all these junk emails, all these emails and texts I've not read? What are you trying to salvage when it's really time to reset and just let the chips fall where they may? You know, sometimes we just got to just singe some things. Okay, we got to just set some stuff ablaze, and what the ashes leave. What's the beauty of it? It's time to reset. It's time to reset because we keep going in autopilot and we keep hitting, you know, continue on your TV. They'll say, are you still watching? Click continue if you're still watching, or they'll cut it off for you. You know, and I'll wake up just right on time to say, are you still watching? It's like countdown. I'm gonna go just on time. Yep, I'm still watching. I'll go back to sleep. And now there's something going on in your spirit in the outer rim while you're asleep because you didn't hit continue for the nonsense. Can we reset? Can we say whatever is here? That I know my king and I we got a new bedroom suit. I don't want to say I'm a living room. I got my mattress and all these boxes. Like I gotta clean my stuff up and to get this mattress together. My husband's just like, you know, just if you ain't seen it in so long, just get rid of it. I'm like, well, no, my papers and my information, and you ain't seen it in 2-3 years. Just get rid of it and reset. You don't want to restart with junk because now you didn't pay for an antivirus, but you done dragged pieces of those viruses.
Right.
Viruses.
It's very funny you say that because you have clothes in your closet. I think I love that dress so much. I'm gonna lose weight and wear them for 5-6 years.
Don't play because my grandma did that. My sister just thought my grandma, she would eat ice cream in the wintertime and summertime she didn't. She just let out clothes and hem up clothes. I said, there's not enough garment in the world, but she did it. She did it. And she was consistent with it. I'm like, how do you keep letting out these clothes and taking them the same outfit? You know, but you can. My point is, you can. Somebody's out there to alter your image. Is it what you want to be seen in, though? Is it what you want to dine? They can alter it and it looks cool because it's the same. You know, is that new? No, I've had this since high school. Yeah, I know I told you I got some clothes since high school. Last year I was busting out of them, but I fit back in, you know. But I'm not that same high school person, though. And the outfit I have, it was a cute outfit. I probably shouldn't have been wearing it in high school, like little nice white slacks with nice little vest with little belly showing in high school. Probably shouldn't have been wearing it. I don't have the belly shirt no more. I do have the pants, but you know, I'm not that same person. So we had to start fitting into things that we're able to still don, still fit into, but it's not suitable. Your life right now it's not suitable. It's not suitable. You got to be able to say donate it and stop donating stuff don't nobody else want. Just throw it away. Because somebody will get your trash. Think about that.
Is that almost like a person that's like in their 40s or 50s trying to relive their second childhood, so to speak?
It is. But how do you relive something? How do you have a second childhood you didn't get over the first? We have an issue with finding our inner selves, our inner child. I was listening the other day. You got to speak to your inner child. It's always there. That's what the conflict of self-love is. You got to realize, though, you don't let your 5-year-old child drive your car. they can sit in the car, but you still need to be buckled up in a car seat. You ever had a child that's too big to be in a car seat? Like you gotta buy another car seat. My children were big. My oldest son was 9'7". So, coming out. So, that car seat thing, you got to adjust. You trying to fit a child into, but you don't let a child drive a car. We keep letting our inner child drive this vehicle we call life right now. And our emotions, our lack of self-love. This inner child is damaged. You're pissed off, and I can reach the pedal, so I'm just gonna roam. There's no plan though, but you let this inner child drive your life. Talk to that child, discipline that child, love on that child.
I like that.
I like that so much.
I like that too. That was awesome right there. I like that.
It goes to show you are not even evolving, because that dress may have fit you when you were 16 and all the boys were coming after you into so cool and you want to go back to that. But you're 35.
What do you mean 35? You have grown men that are in their 60s that still can't be decent fathers and grandfathers because they didn't know their father.
Correct.
So what age do you stop entertaining that inner child and find that adult in you, find that God in you, find that growth, and say, hey, young man, your dad wasn't here, but you are a father. Now you're a grandfather. That was a crappy father. What do you do? How do you reconcile? Can you say, hey, I wasn't the best parent, mom or dad, wasn't the best, and how do you, and it doesn't require anybody's validation. That's the thing, self-love. We think that self-love requires somebody else to love us and understand and agree. And it doesn't require that. So we talk about agape love, when we're talking about selfless love and unconditional. Unconditional means it's not I do for you, so you do for me. Unconditional means in spite of. You keep screwing me over. You keep being disrespectful. You keep being hurtful, but in spite of. In spite of I love you enough to deal with you, or in spite of I love you enough to not deal with you.
That's right.
I love you enough to love me first, so that nobody has to go to jail. Nobody has to go to the coroner's office. What does that look like? It's not that difficult if we understand what we deserve. Like you said, King, what do you think you deserve? What do you know you deserve?
That's right.
I want more, but sometimes I'm not adding up to what I deserve. Well, I deserve this because I've done this all these years. But today, this week, this month at home, I'm not deserving. Not here, maybe out there. And so what does that look like? I deserve out here as a nurse, but at home, am I deserving right now? I might be deserving overall, but right now, and accountability right now, let's talk about right now and where we are and where you want to go. Because yesterday, this sucked. So I don't want it to suck today. So what do I deserve today so it don't suck for me? And it might not be cool, but in spite of.
Correct.
In spite of.
Correct.
That's where we got to get to, y'all.
Powerful.
Wow. This is so, you see, I believe that the foundation, having a solid foundation of who we are tends to influence everything we do. You made a statement, Queen G. You talked about wanting people to accept us, but validate us. But the reality is that if you can't validate yourself, to be very difficult for someone to. I can say you're beautiful all I want. If you don't believe it, then you're like, You project that.
1,000%.
And so that's what you get back.
1,000%.
So when, let me say this. Let me just say this. It may not be here the right forum for it. But you see, even in our relationships, in our marriages, I say this, that the best relationships are not built are not built when everything is perfect, right? A solid relationship finds its strength in the ability to overcome the hurdles and the challenges.
That's correct. That's correct.
Face. That's where the relationship is really solidified. Okay.
That's correct.
A lot of couples struggle with talking issues out. Because when I come to my man and I say something like, oh, yesterday when we were out with this group, you made a statement that made me feel uncomfortable. And they say, oh, what did I say? I said, you said this. Oh, come on. You're being too, whatever. You're being too sensitive. And the moment I say that, okay, I bring my issue to you, we start talking a little more details. The moment we start to go into details of why you said it or how I'm feeling, you don't want to talk about the details because it makes you look at yourself a certain way, right? Or it makes me feel like maybe he's right. I don't have a right to feel that way. We can't speak reality in the situation. We can't accept that, okay, my spouse feels that way because I did that. You end up talking her down or talking him down because you don't want to look into the mirror of who you are. And even in that conflict resolution, we struggle. And so marriages, relationships are on the surface, are shallow. And so they're breaking easily. We can't go deeper into our relationship. So they are struggling. So to be honest with you, if going forward, we don't take the time to solidify who we are, knowing we are worth it, knowing you deserve it, seriously, you put yourself in a position to be abused because you don't understand yourself. You abuse yourself and you call others to abuse you too. No matter how much somebody loves you, they can't make you love yourself. And until you love yourself, you will abuse yourself. You'll misuse yourself. So it's so important that we learn to do this. If every community member is solid in who they are without being arrogant, I think that should even humble you. It humbles you. And it allows you to give grace.
Absolutely.
To the next person as well.
And I wonder what Queen Abby was, I wanted her to dive into when she said that subjective love is dangerous. And I wanted her to dive into it, but you just kind of, for me, just kind of.
I can go a little. When you pulled out the definition, I think the definition said the subjective love is, I love you so much in a way that, I will do anything to keep you.
Well, right. The subjective means that it's how you feel. If I tell you that I have a headache or a migraine and you say on a scale of 1 to 10, what is it? And if I say it's a 10, it's a 10. How do you know it's a 10? If I say it's a 5, how do you know? That's where it becomes subjective. And that's why when people say that.
No, wait a minute. Repeat it. If I have a headache and you ask me on a scale of 1 to 10, how painful, how bad is that? And I say 10. I know it's a 10, but you don't know.
So that's subjective. That's your point of view. I can't argue that. So how do I argue if Shawn says he loves me and Shawn's beating on me? How do I say Shawn doesn't love me? He says he loves me. He's beating on me. He pays the bills. How do you say that? To him, he thinks it's love because to him, he saw his parents. You see what I'm saying? And that's story.
I see what this means. I understand what you're saying. So I love you based on my personal knowledge of love.
Right.
So, but you see, love is when I love you, then you become the subject of my life. I need to know you, what you define as love. That's where the book of love languages come in. Okay. Right. My love language is communication. By communication, I mean that you make time and we dialogue, we talk, not always serious though. We spend time, we love each other, we talk, we love, we do something together. It involves talking to me, but it also means that I want to know that I'm heard. So if you're not listening to me, I'm desperate because I'm not being heard. Feel love because you're not listening to me. When I come to you and say, this thing you did makes me feel that way, it's not about you. You may have said something you meant well, but this is how I felt. So, Queen, I didn't mean it that way. I'm sorry. I understand where you're coming from. I didn't mean it that way. Forgive me. That's it. But if you want to love me based on your knowledge of love and I can't interpret it, communication is understanding. You say something Absolutely. And I interpret it the way you mean it. And if I don't understand it, I will come back to you and say, okay, so this is what you said, but this is what I heard. Am I right?
Correct. Yep.
Right.
Ooh, I want to touch bases on that. I love that too, because communication in business and life and relationships is so important, because someone just mentioned, I believe it was Miss Chantel that said, your 10 is not necessarily my 10. And that's why it's so important. Yes, your 10 is not my 10. Thank you. And so that's very important, the communication aspect, because I love how the way you frame that is that based upon your perception, that's the way that you perceived it, but that's not the way that it was truly intended. And that's where the disconnect and that's where our arguments and everything stems from. That's why when it comes to self-love, especially with relationships and partnerships, it's very important to take the time out to get to know that individual and find out what their quote unquote love language is, what the communication style is. That's very, very important, because you want to make sure that you two have an understanding, right? That you may not agree with everything in which that they may say, but you understand where a person is coming from. And now that gives you the data, if you will, the next time when you have a conversation, you know how this individual is, you know how the way they're wired based upon from your last conversation, and you know how to approach certain matters. So, Professor, I thank you for that. And Teacher Angelina, spot on as far as what you're teaching. And I'm just watching the comments here. This is very, very entertaining. We can actually do this for another 4 hours. But
I know, right?
But this is
we
we need a part two on this, bad boy.
In here.
we need a part 2 and 3 on this. Oh my goodness.
Let's. Let's. I've been so excited about you. I've been bragging about you, King. For the past week or so. I've been so excited. So we even Queen even she was like, we're not gonna get all this in. So we could definitely do a part 2. I love your energy. If y'all love this King, and that is such an important term. We say King, Queen here. I think I shared that with my aspect of that. There's so much negativity. I'd say I love the individuals that I'm connected with. And if you are a queen, you are a queen. If you're a king, you're a king. And it's to be honored. There's love behind that. They're just not words you just throw around. We say, y'all know how some of us talk, using derogatory terms against one another. The intent is so real. If y'all love and appreciate what this King has dropped, he is actually on the description. He's the first link. He's the very first link. Y'all check out his stuff. He's on Facebook. He's on Instagram. He's on YouTube, everything, and he's consistent. He's very consistent. He's very real. Everybody I've watched him interact with, it's just positive, and you just feel that energy. So you have to make sure y'all definitely check him out and hit that subscription button. Make sure y'all wait till we done, but definitely go and follow. Go ahead.
Can I say something as well?
Please.
And this popped into my spirit. Ladies and gentlemen, give yourself grace. Ooh, give yourself grace. And why that popped into my spirit? Because I believe a lot of people, they're too hard on themselves, especially with all the noise that we see as far as in the news and on social media with the comparison. I believe it was Professor Edith that actually mentioned that, like basically trying to be like someone and emulate someone so much. And then when we don't reach that standard, it's like, oh, we so hard on ourselves. But giving yourself grace through this journey of being an entrepreneur, of being a businessman or a businesswoman, as being a wife, a husband, a son or daughter, giving yourself grace because as human beings, we all fall short, by the way, right? I mean, we all fall short. But just giving yourself grace and knowing that you have an opportunity to correct on your areas of improvement. That's what makes the day considered as a gift. Because I want you to think about this. How many people you know that was around yesterday and at 11:34 Eastern Standard Time in the morning, they're not here to witness this. They're not here to enjoy the sky, enjoy, their surroundings. They don't have that anymore. They don't have it anymore. So think about that. Today, February 15, 2025, there will only be a one February 15th of 2025. Let that sink in. We all have 24 hours in a day. What you decide to do on this Saturday will dictate and shape your future, your family's future, and so many other individuals. Whether you realize it or not, it does something. And that is so impactful because when you really get that and understand, you realize that time is precious. And quite frankly, you don't have time to entertain negative Nancy's, Debbie Downers, negative Dans. You don't have time for that because you understand time is of the essence and you have a legacy to fulfill.
Yes.
Come on now. Come on now. Think about that. Come on now. Come on. Y'all know I'm speaking truth now.
Yes.
And so I'm gonna pass it back to these queens here. That's all I gotta say. I'm done. I'm done for now.
Ooh, are you coming back with us next week, King?
I would love I would love to. I would love to.
What you think, Quinn? I would love to have you. Oh my gosh,
Does,
I've been so excited, y'all, all week. I'm telling y'all.
does
I
the
hope,
audience
I
want
pray.
me back? Does the audience want me back? That's the better question because if I'm not giving value to the audience, then it's pointless to come back next week.
I hear a yes. I see a yes. Can I get some more yeses in the chat? Can I get some more yeses for this
King,
thing?
you have given so
it.
much value. I like what you just said. Give yourself grace. Grace is abundant toward us because listen, it's in all these little mistakes, genuine errors that we grow.
Yes, ma'am.
If we will learn from it, give ourselves opportunities to do better. And even if we're good in the process of doing better, we make the same mistake again. You know what? Eventually you will get it. We fall to rise. 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 If you don't remember, look at the little child trying to walk. The first time they fall, if they choose not to get up again, many of our children will never walk. Some of us will never walk. But you know what? Give yourself grace. King, I don't want to go further. Thank you for that. Give yourself grace.
That's why we got a part two.
Forever.
And may I say something too? For all those that may be catching this on the replay, wherever have you, please make sure that you follow these queens because they're doing such a great service, right? And no knock or disrespect to the other entrepreneurs that have like podcasts and shows. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're serving as far as and their purpose and what they're supposed to be doing. But when we have shows such as this is so impactful to me. And I put this in the comments, this is better than TV because you're pouring back into yourself and you're investing back into yourself. And you're saying, You're making a conscious decision by listening to us and listening to these queens, right? That you know what? There's something in which that they're saying that's allowing me to keep coming back, to keep on learning, to keep on growing, to keep commenting, right? Because it's something in which that I need. And that is a beautiful thing. And that's where when you really are saying, like, I love myself enough to take the time out to listen to what these queens are saying and interacting, because it's something in which that I need. Because I tell you what, there's going to come a point in time when somebody's going to come to you with something, and you're going to remember from all the countless hours of you following these queens and interacting with them and learning, that's going to be time for you to teach or pour into another individual. And then from there, now they become a student or disciple, if you will. And now you get to pour into them, and thus they'll be able to pass that same teaching and principles onto someone else. And isn't that how the way it works?
That's what
I'm
it's
just
all
saying.
about.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I don't know. I'm just saying.
That's what it's all
I'm just
about.
saying. True.
That's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
I
1000%.
love it.
1000%.
I love it. Thank you so much. Really quickly, again, make sure you all check out Shawn A. White. He's everywhere. Again, you're not going to find anything but positivity in his conversations, no matter who he's speaking to. And he resonates. You got all the yeses in the comments section. Everybody wants you back. So
Excellent.
we
Amen.
continue this, and we can do, like I said, you asked how we flow on here. It went just well today. You know, that's just what we do. And we want these interactions with all of you. We want to be able to engage. We want to hear your voices. I want to say thank you, everyone that has interacted. You know, my queen, cousin Chantel Kendrick, she's got an event here in Indianapolis. I put it in the chat.
Oh,
So you all can go over to Eventbrite and check that out.
okay.
Some good things going on for the women here in Indiana. I think it's March 2nd. So check that out. I mentioned the Black Men's Group. My queen, Aunt Gloria Carter, is here. But she is her king husband is part of the Black Men's Group of Indiana. So check that out. Definitely, it's BMG. I think it just says BMG of Indy. I don't know. It just probably says BMG Group. But check that out. So many positive things. I know Shawn is in Atlanta. I know we have Queen Kathy in the building. She's in Las Vegas area. D Mays is in Atlanta area. They all do positive things. So you don't know who you're going to interact with, who you can reach, who you can connect with, wherever you are. And that's what this is all about. We want to be able to reach people. Queen Edith, thank you so much, King, because it's not, I appreciate the love that we get from everyone, the feedback. But you all make this possible. Queen Edith mentioned earlier that she has an event. It's not an event. She holds service, right? So we want to talk about that really quickly. I'm gonna put it on the screen so y'all can see it. But Queen Edith, you want to share real quick, and I'll take it off so you can see your beautiful face again.
Wednesday Bible studies is on Zoom. Come discover yourself, learn to love yourself, and know that you matter, you're worth it, you are loved. And the sooner you learn to love yourself, the higher you will rise, the better your relationships and the greater your impact will be. I look forward to seeing you. Thank you.
Yeah, so information's there. That Zoom ID is there. If you go to Queen Edith's page, it's on there also. I will share it on my page. But it's an online Zoom thing. It's 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now y'all know I'll be in bed by 7. Y'all know I'll be in bed, but I'm gonna set my alarm. I'm gonna set my alarm.
We are studying the book of John. It's very amazing. We are studying the book of John. So when you have time, read John chapter 1 and 2. And much about self in there.
Absolutely. So yeah, we're all doing great things. I don't know anybody on this platform that does not have anything positive going on. So I want to invite you to share this with people and share what shine's going on. You know, there's so many people doing positive things. You can get on social media and there's to be some ratchet things. You know, I think if I would have put up a Kendrick Lamar thumbnail, y'all would have all been here and you would have heard the same message, but you would have been here on accident, wouldn't you? So we have to be intentional. Okay, there's a event in March for the men's tour. Okay, so y'all check out BMG on Facebook. There's an event going on. It's not just for the men. Like there's information like with the women too. So, well, go ahead, King. Go ahead.
Yeah, I got a question for Miss Gloria. Is that only as far as in Indiana, as far as what that meant for the men's group, or?
If you can answer, Aunt Gloria, I know a lot of things they do virtually. They have the Black men's group. They have a lot of things. A lot of them are adult Black men that actually pour into the youth. So they teach you how to, you know, they teach you how to tie ties, how to date properly, how to change tires, how to be men, you know. So yeah, but I know my king uncle Brian Carter, he's always inviting us. I know, like I think Uncle Gloria's like springtime, summertime, they do a series online, and they'll do something for all men, they'll do something for women, acknowledging women, they'll do a interactive chat and just really empowering. But I love the concept of the Black men's group because we do need our Black men to be more empowered. So
Pass along my contact information. I would love to connect with Mr. Carter.
Absolutely, I sure will.
Yes.
I sure will.
Wow,
I'm
that's
super
awesome.
excited.
Beautiful.
Yes, yeah. Look at this, y'all. I love it. I love it. So we all stay busy doing positive things. So make sure we don't want you. I don't like the word follow. I want you all to connect and network. We don't like followers. I don't follow anybody, but I love to connect and empower and be empowered. You know, we're worth it, you all. We're worth it. You all spent your time here with us. We're an hour and a half in. You all spent your time here with us. You deserve to have something out of this. You deserve to be able to take away something and pour into someone else without pouring from your cup. You want the overflow, and we're here to bring you that overflow. Shawn A White is definitely here for it. Definitely. So we're all here. Queen Edith, definitely here for it. We love what we do, and we do what we love. You know, so it's certainly a pleasure. It's definitely a pleasure. So I love it. Who's taking us out? Who's taking us out?
I want to personally thank you. Saturday mornings, in this era where time is everything.
Yes.
And you took the time to talk to Queen G throughout the week. You've taken the time to come and pour into us, share a bit of your own story. You're man enough to even be vulnerable with us. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate you being here, you sharing the impact on me. I can't speak for everybody else, but I can speak for me. The impact is amazing. And I just pray that transformation greatness continues to a greater height, because we need to transform. The mind plays a lot of games on us.
Mm-hmm.
And to get to a place where we can bring ourselves to that shift, we need to shift. And that's what you bring. You bring what it takes for us to make the shift. Not just thinking, not just hearing, but like thinking. And that is so powerful. And thank you for bringing all of you to this platform. Thank you so much. I can't thank you enough. And that's all that is it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's such an honor and a privilege because, again, I've been watching from afar and seeing you queens work and just listening as far as your content and the value which that you present. And it's like, wow. I was actually wondering, okay, do you only just invite women, or is it universal, like unisex? So when and Angelina said, yes, we want more kings on, I was like, really? I had both my hands raised because that's so powerful and that's so amazing. So I see, honestly, and I think I mentioned this to you, Angelina. If I didn't, I'm gonna say it now. the rate that you ladies are going, you should get an award. You should get an award because this is so powerful and impactful. So keep on going. Be consistent no matter what. Keep on going because there are individuals that need this, and you never know on who can be impacted. So you ladies are now obligated to keep on doing this no matter what. Every Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check your local listings if you're in the Dallas or on the West Coast. But you ladies are doing a fantastic work and keep on doing that. And by the way, I believe as far as why you ladies being so consistent, I'm pretty sure it's going to be some ideas. There's going to be some things that's going to spark into individuals. And again, that's what it's about because you ladies are planting a seed. You're doing exactly on what the creator is instructing you to do. Look at that. We even got people from Jersey, right? I mean, come on, man. Like, look. I think I said enough. I think I said enough, but you ladies get it. You get it. I said enough.
Absolutely. And again,
I said enough.
you're expressing that, like we feel the same way. Again, if you all not watch his broadcasts, they're so powerful. Every time I talk, now I'm gonna sit here knowing that he's gonna be on next week. Now I'm gonna sit here all week and just be all giddy and carrying on. So I'm excited. I hope you all are excited because we want to change lives. We want to and the change doesn't, we're not presenting something for you all. It's for us too.
Absolutely.
So we get to grow too. Everybody in the chat, there's so much honor and respect. We get to grow with you all. Like it's a mutual thing. So I feel energized every Saturday. I look forward to it. So thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We're definitely doing this again next week. And if you keep doing this,
absolutely,
you're part of our team.
Keep doing it. No matter what. Grow it.
And that those in the chat, our valued friends in the chat have stuck with us throughout. Thank you so much for spending your time because that's valuable. Thank you so much. And yes, indeed, Queen, you said it right. Your comments and everything. And if you'd like to come live with us, please let us know because we would love to have you both male and female. Thank you so much. Queen,
absolutely. I don't see anybody in this chat that I wouldn't have up here. So y'all just let us know. We can do it. Yeah. We're gonna definitely collaborate with Shawn A. White. I love this collaboration. It's amazing. And it's just bless my spirit. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Queen, take us out, I guess. Guys, we'll keep talking, y'all. We'll keep talking. So Queen, don't say nothing that just warms my heart, dog. You just keep talking. I'm just gonna go off camera. Just say what you got.
Ken, I'd like you to give us the honor of your last word.
Oh, yes, please.
I'm sorry, repeat that for me.
King Shawn is going to take us out, y'all. King Shawn's going to take us out.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we done mentioned today, because the topic was about self-love, we really want you to remember this conversation that we done had and really internalize it. And I really want you all, or I would encourage you all, if you will, to really search deep within. We're at a time right now, obviously, with everything which is going on. Obviously, you see it. I don't need to regurgitate that. But ask yourselves the question, am I in alignment on what I'm supposed to be doing? And if not, what am I waiting on? Because part of self-love, that agape love, the sooner you can align yourself with that, the better it would be, because you have an audience and a tribe of people that are waiting on you. Boy, they're waiting on you. And these are individuals that I cannot connect or reach through. This is an audience that Teacher Angelina and Professor Edith can reach through, but only you can. Only you. They will understand. They will hear your voice. They will understand your message. They would get you. They will resonate and jive with you. But if you're not continuing to develop within that self-love, understanding who you are, understanding your purpose and assignment and calling, they are just waiting in the back. Or more importantly, or even the most sad part is, they will go to somebody else in which they may not get the same value, and yet they may feel cheated on. I want to leave you guys with this, something in which I heard from the great Les Brown that was mentioned by Dr. Miles Monroe, which, by the way, I love those two individuals.
Mhm.
It was about the tale of, there was a man that he was assigned to certain gifts and talents. But because he did not believe within himself and he paid attention to the noise of what other people mentioned, to what the world told him in which that he was, he didn't fully embrace his gifts and talents. And so he died. No, correction, he was on his deathbed. And the sad part about it is that there were spirits that was laying by his deathbed. And they were so upset and sad because there were the gifts and talents associated with them, and they were waiting for him to truly embrace it. But because he heard from the outside noise and he believed that more so than what the divine or the creator told him of who he was, they now had to die along with the goals and dreams and aspirations and the gifts that was supposed to have been set for him. And they were very upset about that. I recommend for you all, when that day comes for you, that you don't want that. Because I think the biggest thing besides the death, which obviously we all know that we're going to leave this planet one day, but having that regret of what if. And I'm going to leave it at that. That's all.
Ooh. All right. On that note, I'm going to just shut my mouth because there was so much to dive into. We wish you peace, love, and blessings. All three of us will be back here next Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be blessed, be well. We thank you. We love you. Until next time, take a breath and digest because this was good meat. We love you. See you soon.
Amen.